everyone, this is Eva here. Today I have George being the first guest of Q&A video for 2020. First of all, thank you for being here, George.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure.
Yeah, George is the Director of Data Governance and Business Intelligence at the University of British Columbia. He advises companies on how to treat data as an asset and share his insight, knowledge, practical takeaway on his own YouTube channel, Lights on Data, on social media, and at different conferences. Today, we're going to talk about some common reason why company is not having a good data. First of all, what could be the first point that you wanted to share with the audience?
Well, first, I think it's just to understand when we talk about good data, it's that we're mainly talking about its quality, not the data itself, but really the quality around the data, right? Is it good for the purposes that we're using it for? Is it suitable or not? And it's different levels of quality. So that's what, when we're referring to good data versus bad data, that's what we're talking about, mainly the quality.
Not at the source, but more so at a surface level of the quality of the data.
Right. And if that quality is, again, suitable for whatever purposes we're using the data for.
Got you. So what could be the first reason that you come across being the main reason that for company to lack of a good data?
Well, first of all, I think it really starts at the top, right? As with most things. So if that upper management doesn't treat data as an asset, it doesn't see its importance, the importance of good data quality as important as it should be, then everything sort of trickles down and resources are not being invested into getting it there, right? Getting at the level that the data should be at. So, and it's really, it's understated, again, the importance of good quality. The IBM Big Data and Analytics Hub last year, or I think it was 2018, they did this analysis and they estimated that bad data alone, it's costing the US economy $3.1 trillion. That's a lot of money.
It is. I'm like, how much is 3.1 trillion? I have no idea when number goes above $1 billion.
Yeah, past $1 billion.
Yeah.
It's a lot of zeros for sure. I mean, to put in perspective, I think last week Google was estimated as a $1 trillion company, and Google is big, or Alphabet.
Yeah,
it's huge. To give you another example, if one would have $1 trillion and would want to spend it, they could actually buy every resident in San Francisco an apartment in San Francisco. And again,
which is really expensive.
It's really expensive. Yeah. More expensive than Vancouver.
Probably.
Yeah.
So in your experience, do you actually feel that a company don't think data is important? Because I guess maybe it's because I'm in digital marketing, paid ads. So for me, obviously, and a lot of people around me see the value of data. But in your experience, do you think there's still it's getting better, but there's still a lot of education to be done?
Yes and yes. I think it is getting better. I think it's more upfront. I mean, we see the rise of AI and machine learning and so forth that is consuming all this data, data science, data analytics. So more importance is given to the quality of the data and data in general.
Yeah.
But still is not really considered as the asset as it should be. And a lot of people do mention that data is important. Their companies are investing into it. But then when you're looking underneath the covers and you're finding all the issues, and again, with big companies, not even small ones, you're realizing, you're not really being truthful there.
They don't walk the talk.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
They say one thing, but for whatever reason, they're doing a different thing.
Exactly.
Got you.
Yeah.
That could be the first reason, probably common one, why company cannot have a good data. What could be the second common reason that you come across?
So the second reason, again, is I think that misconception that you actually do have good data when in fact you don't have good data overall. So when you're talking to a data steward or let's say an owner of a particular system or a particular process that's either creating data, acquiring data, consuming data, what have you, they probably think, well, you know what, we have invested quite a bit of resources and we're doing this properly, our data is clean, our data is good. But then if you're looking at the whole ecosystem of that company, you find out that as soon as that piece of data is leaving that process, it's being consumed by another system, it's being used in another report, that data cease to have good data quality. And it's because of a lack of an overall data quality management.
Like a coherence strategy in a way.
Exactly.
So basically you're saying that a data set can be good in one situation, maybe at a department, maybe under a particular system, but once this data be transferred to a different department for different purpose, the quality can go down.
Exactly.
Okay, and that's quite common in your experience as well.
Yes, it happens more often than we like to think that it does.
Interesting. I never thought of that. I always think like if you have a good centralized database or process, it should be fine, when you kind of transfer the database across different departments.
Definitely, but like you mentioned, your point is if it's for a different purpose that you're consuming the same data points, then whenever that data gets created or acquired, if it's not taking into consideration all the business requirements that it's needed for, you might miss certain things. So you might capture data, let's say numbers, whatever values with 2 digits. But if a certain process needs an accuracy up to 3 digits, but you've only captured up to 2, then all of a sudden it's not really being fit for that.
So that has a bit to do with the metadata.
Yes, it does.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
So it's like the way the data is being, could you mind explain a little bit of what a metadata is, just for people, including me, who are not really familiar with this concept?
Yeah. So simply, it's really data about data.
Okay.
So it's information about the data, and it could be technical or business. Business really, it's understanding when you talk about age. What does that mean? Is that the age of a person? Is that an age of a service, product, what have you, right? In some cases, if maybe it's cheese or wine, maybe age is good. In some cases, you would have that expiration date. So there's different considerations, and all of that is really tied to those business requirements, business know-how that needs to go into governing that piece of data. On the other hand is the technical metadata, right? So it's understanding what type of a field you're storing it in, what those restrictions are. So can you store things up to 3 digits or only 2? That's one example that comes to mind.
Got you. So it's kind of like you said, data about the data, like how you store it, like some certain specification requirement.
Right.
Maybe like extra column is what we would say, right? If it's in an Excel file.
Yeah.
Okay.
That too.
Okay.
If we take the age as the example, and moving even further, but taking the date of birth, right? If we're storing that in a data field, what data do we have about that date field, right? Is it based on the European standards, or is it based on the North American standards, right? So June 1st could be written 6-1. In one country or one continent, it would mean June 1st. On the other one would mean January 6th.
So different department could have different standard in a way.
Yes.
About the same set of data, and once it's transferred, they don't talk to each other. There's no, I guess, a proper procedure for data transferring, and then mistake can happen.
Exactly.
Under that circumstance.
Exactly. Assumptions happen, right? They both assume that they're using each other's, when in fact that's not the case.
Okay.
And it's what really crashed the Mars orbiter in the, I think, late 90s.
Really?
NASA's Mars orbiter. I think they lost $200 million or so that they've invested into it. And what happened is one of the units that was working on a key calculation, they were using the imperial system, and the other one was using the metric system. They both assumed they were using each other's, and of course the calculations did not match, and
it didn't happen.
They overshot. Yeah.
Let's say a company, if they do, take the importance of having good data access, they make sure they have the proper procedures standard across how to store the data, how to use the metadata. Do you think that this alone is enough for a company to have a good data, or does a little bit more have to go into it?
Unfortunately, a little bit more does need to come into it.
Always a little bit more.
Yes. We as data practitioners, we all ask for more, right? I think if you don't constantly invest resources into it, then even though you have good data quality today, you're not going to have it tomorrow. I mean, let's take either of us as an example, right? We live in whatever apartment, house, what have you, but then a month later, a year later, you move, right? Now, whatever company has that information about me, like my bank, if they don't keep that data up to date, if they don't invest resources into it, to find out that, she has moved to another place, then already that data, even though again it's good, it's irrelevant the next day, right? It expires. And I mean, postal codes change, zip codes change.
People move a lot. Yeah.
Exactly. So just looking at the address data, and it's not the only example, but it has that natural decay factor that if you're not investing resources into to maintain it, it all of a sudden just becomes obsolete. It becomes irrelevant, inaccurate, invalid.
Got you. I think it's really common for company to treat maybe the data as a project rather than ongoing.
Right.
What would be the better word to say? It's definitely not a one-time project. It should be an ongoing investment.
Yeah, part of a program, right, where you keep on investing those resources.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if they don't make sure they have the accurate information, if they don't make sure they keep checking it, then something could be good maybe 2 years ago, but it's just not relevant anymore.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. To wrap up, what could be the last tips that you want to share with the audience, like how they can really approach the database and have a good set of data?
Well, so besides everything that we talked about, I think also ideally when you're tackling the problem, you should actually tackle the problem, the source of issues, right? Find out the root cause and try and fix it whenever possible. And when you're fixing that data, to not just fix it on that presentation level or layer, and it often happens that way, right? The business intelligence team, the IT team is being asked for a report or dashboard, and they have to work with whatever they have, and they cleanse that data to appear properly in the dashboard, in the report, but they don't fix it at the source. And again, if you're fixing it at the report level, if you're creating another report using the same data set or parts of it, you're not going to benefit from whatever efforts you've done there to cleanse it, right? So if it's fixed at the source, all the systems, all the processes, all the tools using that data source would benefit from your efforts.
It's better because it actually saves time and money by fixing at the source. Maybe it seems like it takes more effort at the beginning because you have to dive deeper, you have to go back to the problem, like exactly what happened. But once you fix it, you don't have to keep going anymore.
Exactly.
You have the good foundation now, and it's much easier to build a house.
Exactly.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge about some of the common reasons why a company cannot have or not having a good set of data. If people wanted to learn more about data governance, big data, and business intelligence, what could be the best way for them to reach you?
Sure. Definitely do try and look me up on LinkedIn. Love to connect with people in person and online. So please follow me there or just get in touch with me. And just try and Google lightsondata.com. You can find my website and my YouTube channel.
I will definitely share your YouTube link and your website link at the post about.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.